Hi, everybody, and thank you so much for stopping by. We are with. Wait, are we actually live?
Yes, yeah, we're live.
Hey, and I almost said welcome to Lord Yeshua, honestly. Just instincts kicked in. Welcome to This Is Difficult. We are a podcast pertaining to video games and video game related things.
We sure
do love them. We sure do love the video games. L'chaim, everybody. The Jewish version this time. Welcome. I am Lord Yeshua. Josh is my name in real life. And here we have Paul Ryugami-san. You are on his channel, my friends. Thank you for stopping by. And 4G's Colin. He's been known to stream back in the day. Old man over here. I'm just kidding.
Once upon a time.
You're with This Is Difficult right now. Here we go. Take everyone but you and Paul off, basically. Fuck these people. You know who they are. Sorry, Colin is doing some settings right here. Right? Take Mandari off.
Oh my God. All right, let's do a show. Guys, what do you...
I want to see my camera personally. All right. Yes. What do I want? God damn you, Colin. He didn't take her off. Oops. Oops. Anyway. We're here to talk about some stuff. What is it? The shopping?
What are you talking about?
Dude, awesome intro. Hey,
wow,
so
incredible. Good job.
We played video games this week. Guys, what video games did you play?
Man, I'm not so sure. Oh, yes, I did. You go first. I played a good one. We all played like the same game. I'm just gonna start by saying the big one. We all played Super Mario 3D All-Stars. A dream come true.
Did you play anything else? We know about that. We all played it. We're gonna talk about that for sure. Did you guys play anything else this week?
Let's see. What did we play together? Me and Colin did a Donkey Kong Country stream. So we really were inspired by playing a few levels the other day. So we decided to do a full game run through, and we did get tired in the second to last world. But we got really close in a co-op run through of Donkey Kong Country, and we got really good at using the save states and other really fun like features of the online mode. So I thought that was really fun to get a stream of that. Really, really recommend using the SNES online co-op stuff if you guys haven't tried it yet. I mean, it's not like a mod, but it's as good as you're going to get with Nintendo giving you something for free. So yeah, it was really fun. I don't know if I played anything else. I'm trying to think. A little Starlink. Yeah, very little Starlink, like just because it's been inundated with other games right now. But
Starlink's a lot of fun. It's
really good.
I played Breath of the Wild again this week because I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, well, number one, we've got the prequel coming out in the form of Hyrule Warriors, right?
Oh yeah, that's like prequel.
Yeah. And then number two, we've got certainly Breath of the Wild 2 coming next year. I would have to say
do.
It hasn't been like announced for next year, but like it's pretty obvious. You know what I mean? And so I was thinking there's probably things that if you get like the correct ending, or if you accomplish certain things in the game in your save, that you will be able to carry over to the sequel. And so I was like,
stretch. I don't know.
I don't know. It happens a lot in a lot of games. It happens in Zelda Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons.
Once. Okay, that's not like a carryover.
I'm just saying.
That's pretty rare too. Yeah. They're trying to push the Game Boy compatibility. But,
right. I'm just saying.
Okay. Maybe.
It's possible. It's entirely possible. This is also the first Zelda trilogy we've ever seen, so we don't know, right? And I've actually never completed... I've never actually finished Breath of the Wild. I've gotten almost every shrine, and like I literally stopped playing the game because I didn't want there to not be game to play after I beat it, and because this was before the expansions had come out. Okay. And so when I picked it back up again, I decided, number one, I was going to try and get everything to get like the complete ending. And then number two, I wanted to beat the master trials, the master sword trials.
Yeah, you might as well just stick a... Never mind.
Literally stick your dick in an electrical socket.
I was going to say stick something horribly sharp in your butt, but either way,
it's awful. It's
absolutely... That's an example of just like being hard for absolutely no reason. There's no like gain. There's no like, I beat a challenge. It just feels like you got fucked up the whole way through that thing. It's not fun anyway.
Yeah, it's really brutal and terrible and awful, and I hate it.
Hated it.
And honestly, like
seriously, it was pretty
playing.
bad.
So I was doing pretty good. Like I beat the first trial a long time ago, and so I started at the middle trial, and I got like halfway through the middle trial, and I was doing fine until like I got to the dark levels. I beat the first couple dark levels, and I get to the first dark level that has one of the guardians in it, and I didn't know there was a guardian there. And I walk around a corner and get laser beamed, like,
of course,
and it's game over, you know. And so you start all the way at the beginning. By then you're like literally like 8 or 9 freaking levels deep into that trial.
Yeah.
And I was like, just fuck this. So I looked it up, and I like just to look at strategy and stuff for all those, and it was terrifying. How hard it gets, because that's not even close to the end of the middle trials, and then you have the final trials,
legendary like Lionels and stuff.
Yeah, go fuck yourself. I'm not doing that.
I don't even want to fight a Lionel in real life, let alone with all that pressure.
So like the whole purpose of me doing that was because I wanted a sword that doesn't goddamn break, you know. Like, because once you finish all the trials, your Master Sword just has unlimited durability.
What a gimmick. Yeah, isn't that the stupidest thing you've ever heard, though?
It's
like, that's literally like, hey, we made a shitty mechanic, so we're going to make up for it with this DLC that butt fucks you, essentially. And then you get one. So I'm pretty sure, I know it's still a rumor, but the biggest thing, they are keeping durability, which in my opinion is a miss.
It's a huge miss.
That's a whiff.
That's the next thing I was going to talk about.
Yeah. You should have just had weapons constantly outclassing each other, and then you could sell weapons for rupees or craft them into minerals.
I have a fix for durability. I have a fix for durability.
It turns into minerals when it breaks? Hello?
No. Here's my fix. Give us weapons that don't break, but you don't get new ones, right? And they're limited power. They're limited power. And then the weapons that you pick up from other enemies in the game are more powerful, but those have durability.
I completely agree.
That's totally fine. I'd be fine with that. But the fact that like every weapon in the game, including the Master Sword, you get to use for about 30 seconds in a fight, and then you have to switch weapons because that thing broke, and you don't get it back, and it takes 45 fucking minutes for the Master Sword to recharge. Like, that's insanity to me. That's absolutely insanity.
The rumor was there are going to be legendary weapons from reliable leak source. Said there's going to, I really don't know. I heard this some time ago when the Paper Mario thing happened. There's going to be legendary weapons that don't break, but durability is still going to be here. So I'm wondering if there's going to be like 3 swords now, or like maybe a bow, a sword, a shield. You know, I doubt there's going to be like a line of swords to choose from that don't break. You know what I mean? Like, that seems very unlikely.
So, I mean,
seems like the way to take advantage of DLC also. Like, pay for 10 swords. Fuck me. Like,
so after going back to that game, though, like, I don't want to. Well, like, I hate it. I actually don't. I don't like that game. I loved it when it first came out, but I was hardcore riding in the hype train.
Breath of the Wild, yes, me too. Breath of the Wild's complete appeal, aside from having the word Zelda in the title, is that it is an unknown game. We didn't know what was happening. We were presented very little. We didn't know the story until we played it. I didn't even know there was voice acting in the game until I was playing it. There's so much I didn't know, just from the trailer being mysterious, the lead up being mysterious, and the game itself being very mysterious and being all exploration based. Now, when you go back and play that, and everyone knows about it, and everyone has exploited the shit out of it, and you've gotten every inch of it, it's just the mystery is taken out. Like, what's the point of climbing this giant mountain when you know the shrine's right there? Like, I gotta find that shrine. Okay, time to go to that. It's like not the same. And I feel like the huge whiff on this game was literally leaning so hard into exploration that it had no replayability.
The other really terrible thing about the game that drives me insane is the health system. Like, when you start out the game, unless you cook the right, concoction, almost every enemy in the game can one-hit you. And then even after you grinded your dick hole off and you've got a ton of hearts, if you're not wearing armor that you grinded 1,000 hours to level up, most things can one-hit you. Most things can still one-hit you. It's insane. And you can't chop a fucking bush to get a heart. You know,
there's a humongous miss that I always forget to mention. And I'm not talking about the hook shot. I'm not talking about any of that. This is a crazy miss that I can't believe no one mentions more. There is no magic in the goddamn game. Are you kidding me? There's no spells or anything.
Sheikah Slate.
what the fuck is the Sheikah Slay? I can take a picture of myself and play. Bombs
and
are
like
an item.
levitate shit. And
that's an item. That could be an item. Bombs are an item. Magnet is an item they've already used. These are items for my inventory.
Okay,
These
fair
are not
enough.
spells like Nehru's Love. They're not spells like just literally charging my sword to do a spin move.
Yeah,
anything.
true.
A light arrow. Any of this. Any of this.
Charging your sword will break your fucking sword.
Yeah, and obviously you could get the fire. The arrows were probably in my opinion, the best part of the game was the bow, and it should another durability issue, but the bow was really awesome in how it was executed.
Well, especially the slow-mo stuff. Like the slow-mo stuff with the bow was really good. I agree with that.
At the beginning of the game, you have dookie ass bows, and you have to like arc it like a real human, and then eventually you get like insane bows and the triple shots and all that.
Yeah.
And I think the bow is probably the strongest part of the game, but that being said, I would have rather used magic and had other magic too. How do they not have magic in a Zelda game? Like spells could be, you could have so many spells. You could literally learn arcane magic like back in A Link to the Past where you got like the medallions. There's no limit to the amount of stuff that you do. No hook shot, no item progression.
It's
no
not a Zelda
dungeons.
game. Like you can't convince me it's a Zelda game.
The first temple should be easier than the last temple. There should be a grading difficulty. I could go on for a while about how many whiffs there are in breadth as far as it being a Zelda game.
Well, it really makes me not excited about 2, honestly. But I'm still gonna play it. I'm still gonna play it, but I'm actually really scared.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm very scared. I think it's probably a 5.5.
Especially after going back and playing it again. Playing it again really ruined it.
I'm gonna be honest. I think I would give Breath about a 5.5.
Oh my goodness!
Insane. Yeah.
Colin, how do you feel?
Okay, maybe on the Zelda scale. Maybe
I want to hear
Colin's
bit on this.
As far as the game is concerned, I'd probably give it an 8 as a game.
Recently.
I give it an 8 as a game. It's 5.5 as a Zelda.
I'd say it's like a 7 probably.
Dude,
it started out like really high, and then it was like, is this it? You know, this isn't really Zelda. You know?
Yeah.
You knew that right off the bat.
Like
Colin,
I like Skyrim fine, but like I like Skyrim where it's at. Like
Colin
this was
never
like
buys into the hype. This is what I respect about him as a gamer.
Yeah.
Never buy into the hype. Yeah. Like Odyssey, you were even like leering at hardcore.
Which bothers me because I think Odyssey's really good despite the hype.
Yeah,
I think it's
that.
so
I have
good.
some good things.
I know.
Did I say Odyssey? Yeah, I always get Odyssey and Galaxy confused.
I should try Odyssey. I don't know. I don't know.
Colin, did you play anything else this week other than Donkey Kong?
That was fun.
That was fun. Yeah, I played the All-Stars.
All right. Well, let's get into that. Hold on one second. I'm going to throw up
Or do you want
our...
to do your review first, and then we can dive into
No. Let's do this first because I've got it queued up. So
yeah, let's do it, guys. We're all really excited to talk
I've actually
got
your gameplay on in the background.
Hey, follow Yeshua, everyone.
I could just play right now, and it could be live.
No,
can I play right now, please?
I could do that, and then send you the RTMP link.
That would be cool, but we're...
All right, hang on, I'll do that.
No, because I don't want you staring at your screen. I want to talk about the game.
Oh, look at me. Did you see that flip I just did, Colin? That's the thing I wanted to text you and be like, have you ever done that flip off of the pole and land on the top section in Hazy Maze? Anyway.
No, I didn't see it.
All right.
It was like literally the first part.
Let's first break down what this game is. Mario 3D All-Stars. It's the first 3 3D Mario games that were released. So that's Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy.
This was surprisingly before there were any handheld 3D Mario. So before you go saying, no, this came out, it actually was nothing in this time aside from these games and side-scrolling Mario. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. So Mario 64 being the first. And so there was a little bit of controversy with this game because essentially there is some improvements, like some limited things that they did to change the games. But for the most part, you're playing like a modified emulation of the games. So it's not like they remade the games like they did for the original Mario All-Stars. We're actually playing emulated versions of those games. So that's, to me, fine, because they did a masterful job of executing the emulation. Like, you couldn't tell by playing it that you're playing an emulated version, whereas a lot of times when you're playing on an emulator, you can, depending on, what emulator you're using, what computer or device you're using to emulate that.
Watching myself
it doesn't do like necessarily perfect one-to-one emulation. And I feel like this pulls it off. So for Mario 64,
what's a frame rate? Do we know what that is? Did they change that?
60.
Yeah, I believe it's 60.
Is it?
I don't know though, for sure.
Should be with the res update.
Yeah,
just to be on the Switch, I feel like.
No, not necessarily. Though Mario Odyssey does play at 60 frames per second.
Galaxy. Oh,
So
Odyssey does.
Odyssey
Oh,
does.
okay.
So
I wouldn't be
if
surprised if at least
Odyssey can
Galaxy
play
did.
at 60 frames per second, it wouldn't surprise me if this is, other than it's playing in emulation. So that could be a drawback to it. I don't know. But it feels good. I haven't noticed any frame skips, if that matters. But you know, they obviously upresed Mario 64, but beyond that, they didn't change much. A little bit of the controls have been changed. But not really. Like basically, like the camera, instead of being inverted and annoying and stupid, it's not inverted anymore. And same thing with like the cannons, things like that.
Yeah, which is just getting used to, I would say.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. And then same thing with Mario Sunshine. Well, not actually the same thing. For Mario Sunshine,
No,
you have
yeah.
they widened the aspect ratio, which is cool.
Cool,
So you play it in widescreen instead of full screen, which is really nice. Again, it's upresed for the Switch. They did change the flood controls, so instead of having, you know, the analog trigger, you've got two triggers. One does your stationary spraying, and then one lets you spray as you're running, which I think is fine.
I haven't tried that.
I do and I don't. I'll be honest. So this is probably my biggest gripe with the entire thing, is that mechanically, and it doesn't really affect anyone new who's playing this game for the first time, but as a replayer, it kind of makes me mechanically have to think about that, because I put like 1,000 hours into Sunshine in my life.
The reverse
like,
camera on 64 and the reverse cannon threw me off 1,000
so
times.
much, and those throw me off too. Where they make me like,
why
those
make
me feel more like I'm playing a game instead of like something so fluid. But again, I think that's because it's so natural for people like me and Colin, and even you, Paul, to
well,
like
you guys,
play the original.
For me, it was fine, honestly, because I hate inverted controls. I absolutely hate inverted controls. I think it's just because I'm
used to it, honestly.
Yeah, but you guys like actively play these games way more often than I do. So
I played all these games multiple times this year.
Yeah. So you're way more used to that type of control scheme. And even though I've played Mario 64 many times before, it's been a really long time since I've actually
30 and 60 FPS respectively.
Yeah. So our awesome producer Chamali got us the frame rate numbers on this. Super Mario 64 runs at 30 FPS, Sunshine runs at 30, and then Galaxy actually runs at 60, which is pretty rad.
Which is impressive. Yeah. But yeah, I would say aside from that, yeah.
Yeah. So
what else we got?
Let's see. So those are the changes for those two games, and then for
the big mama.
Yeah, for Galaxy, they did, the big concern was the motion controls, which I think they pulled off flawlessly with the
So do you
nunchucks.
point at your screen then, or how do you?
It's just basically instinctual now, because you already have gyroscopic like instincts from playing with the Switch.
Okay.
So think about like if Odyssey just had a pointer at the screen for your hat, as opposed to you just free doing it. So like now you just have that star on the screen, but it's the same basic principle of just having your controller just generally facing the screen and then kind of tilting it around to collect the blips.
And it's very
so much
accurate.
Less effort.
It's so accurate. Like it feels pretty like precise.
1-to-1.
Yeah, 1-to-1. And if it does get off, you can recenter it with the R button.
R button, yeah,
or RZ or
whatever.
Okay. As someone who's playing with the Pro
so I wonder
controller,
if Skyward Sword's gonna be like
that's what I'm saying, dude. That's what I'm saying.
You'll have to play with the Joy-Cons though, I think, with Skyward Sword.
Well, that's
Mario,
okay though. I'm down.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I mean, like, I'll be a little sad because, like, honestly, it's kind of nice to be like walk outside, play a little bit, walk inside, play some more, but like rather than like set up every time.
Yeah.
But like for Skyward Sword, I would do that. You know, that's a fun game.
Absolutely. So that's kind of the big change. And then if you're playing in handheld mode, and this change was specifically done for the Switch Lite, because the Switch Lite doesn't have, you know, the same features. Obviously, you can't take the Joy-Cons off. I don't think it even has gyro on it.
It's so terrible.
It implemented a touch screen system for, you know, for picking up the shine sprites, which is fine.
Neat.
It's workable, but it's not ideal.
Yeah.
But also, why would you be playing on a Switch?
Why would you be? I will say something that I don't know if it's even in the brief or anything like that. I am 100% sure they tightened the movement of Mario in Mario Galaxy. I played this game in March and I voted it the worst of the 3D Marios, specifically because the controls are just not as good as Galaxy 2.
And they did say they optimized the controls for the Switch.
They optimized the controls. In my opinion, the first one, the original Odyssey, he just like kind of skid around. You don't stop where he stops. Like the uptick on like ground to slope, like, you know, you kind of like he reaches his foot up these days where he automatically grabs it with his leg. But like that was kind of hit or miss. All of that is completely tightened up. Like Mario for sure grabs a ledge if you're just barely on it. There's no like, will I grab the ledge? You stop on a fucking dime and turn.
I wouldn't say you stop on a dime. The one thing that I noticed playing, yeah, comparatively probably.
Yeah.
I never played the original, but I was playing it. I played all 3 this week, and when I was playing Galaxy, I felt like my momentum as Mario was much stronger than my momentum in either of the other 2 games.
Sunshine not to say that it wasn't more stop on a dime.
Yeah, not to say it wasn't manageable, but in Galaxy, like I felt like it was harder to control the momentum than it was in Sunshine and 64.
That is, I think that is for sure true. Yeah, especially if he's running, it's like kind of like okay, but I don't know. To me, it's just as someone who did play that, and I was like right away in the first level when I was playing Galaxy with the Wiimote, I was like, this is just a really trudging control. First level, I was already annoyed with like every bit of how the controls work. And just coming out of Sunshine, which in my opinion is the best control of Mario. I'm not saying he has the best moveset or anything. I think he controls the best in Sunshine. And maybe a tie with Odyssey. It's close.
Odyssey's so good.
It's really good. I just personally, I really like how he handles in Sunshine. That's just me. Yeah, but
I've had a little trouble getting used to it, but I also never played Sunshine either. I watched my brother play it back in the day, but I never played it. So
yeah, I don't know. I think they changed up Odyssey for the better. I didn't have any of those issues in the level 1 right away using my Pro controller. I was just like, this is smooth, seamless. They really upgraded it. Just mentally, I already felt like they upgraded it. That's what literally held it back from being a 10 out of 10 game for me. It was the control. So I'm really excited about that. Probably more than anything else on the remake.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
What else? What else do you guys have to say about the remake? I so far have played a little bit of each game. I haven't finished any of the games, but I wanted to get in and feel every single one of the games and just check it out and see how the controls were, see how, you know, like how I liked each game and whatnot. And so far I'm loving all of it. Like especially 64 brings back so many freaking memories.
Yes.
And it feels so much better than playing it on a goddamn Nintendo 64 controller.
That's true.
The 64 controller, we all got used to it back in the day, but it's the biggest hunk of ass. Like it is such a piece of shit controller.
It's not
and
great.
So like playing with a modern controller, like I was playing with my 8-bit Do, which is such a good controller that like it felt really good to play, you know, as compared to playing on the 64 back in the day. So that was just a joy. And I just think everything's executed really well.
As someone who plays mods and the original and all the rips of, I mean, totally purchased versions of 64 that have, I don't know how many different versions of this game I fucking played. This looks the best to me. I don't know why, but I feel like it has the smoothest resolution. This is important to me as someone who notices literally every chip in games like these where I'm like, oh, the seam is like off. Like you can see it like kind of flex or flutter or whatever when the camera turns. It's much more like glued down. Like corners feel like you don't ever see any white peering through the corners, and you don't see any tears in the scenery or any weird glitches anymore. Like I feel like it is the tightest version of 64.
I actually super agree with you. And like the reason I say that is because I have a device for my 64 that allows me to play it in HDMI directly out of my 64. And it's got a button on it that does this really nice smoothing thing that smooths out the edges of everything. It makes everything look so good on 64.
That's insane.
But I will say this, it looks better on the Switch.
Ooh,
even though you still see some of the jagged lines, like exactly what you were just saying, I don't see like the gaps between polygons and stuff.
Or even the fuzzy lines sometimes. Yeah.
Whereas like it looks so good on the I don't even know what the hell this thing's called.
Upscaler?
It's called
Horn
it's
box?
an upscaler, but it's
He's not listening.
What is this guy? Eon. This thing right here.
What is that?
So
Ian?
Eon.
Looks like a mini walkie-talkie.
So it plugs into your 64. It's got HDMI on the back here.
Oh, that's so cool.
Wow, that's insane.
This button right here is what makes it
explode.
Yeah, explode. No, that's the smoothing button.
Like anti-aliasing button.
Yeah, I guess.
He's like, I said
it basically no, it's not even really anti-aliasing. It basically just smooths out like the sharp edges.
Maybe it interlaces it. Maybe it's de-interlaced.
Yeah, you gotta say a fancy
that's
word.
it. I don't know. I think it's like their proprietary like filter that they run it through. But
Sure.
yeah.
Okay. It might be like AI or like that. Although
Anyway,
still, it looks better.
It's very cool. But
just on that, so we all agree, best looking, right? Yeah.
Yes, best looking.
So Sunshine, I personally thought Sunshine looked like Odyssey did. This version of Sunshine looks like only a hair under what the original Odyssey drop did on like my TV with the Wii.
Do you mean, are you confusing Odyssey and Galaxy again?
I am always doing that. Galaxy. And then I think Galaxy looks almost as good as Odyssey does.
Dude, Galaxy looks like a new game. It looks great.
Absolutely gorgeous. And there is so many like issues that I was like, Sunshine does this a lot where they kind of fade out the color a little bit because it's not as precise line work, just because of the GameCubes. They did a lot of like heat work with the like sun and heat rays. And Colin, please tell me you know what I'm talking about, where things would like fade.
I know what you're talking about. That kind of like Mirage look.
Yes, they do that a little now, but I want to say that it is a little more stark and the graphics are a little sharper. And it's kind of the same with Odyssey. Oh, God damn it. With Galaxy, where like they're not doing as many tricks to make it look good. It's now just sharper graphics and they are more curved and like smoother edges and everything. So I think it is just more impressive overall. They're not doing any tricks. It's like just the actual graphic style. So I don't know. I feel like it's a huge improvement on those two. And I do feel like the quintessential version of basically all three, if you don't want to abuse the shit out of 64, you know.
You have transcoding on, by the way. That's pretty awesome.
What does that mean? So basically, if you don't want to just break your game with Super Mario 64 and do your backwards long jump forever. And did you see, Colin, I tagged you in that thing. Someone already exploited how to do it in this one.
I saw that. Was incredible.
Yeah, so you can do pretty much everything you can unless you don't purely break a game.
Except for the reverse long jump.
And apparently someone figured out how to do a bunch of the glitches in Sunshine already. So you pretty much get everything you want. You're paying $20 a game. Galaxy is like a $40 game still. 64 is like a $60 game if you get in the cart. Sunshine, I don't even know how much that one. That's probably super rare right now because GameCube games are kind of in high demand. So basically, this is an amazing deal if you have a Switch. Please buy this game.
Wait, you walked across this on the bottom? You like?
Well, how did I do that?
Yeah, you like go over it. Why don't you go over it? It's so
I know,
easy.
and as I was on it, I wanted to be out loud like, why didn't I go over it? But Colin's gonna see this one day.
He wanted to get a workout in. He was doing the monkey bars.
Heat distortion. That's the word. Heat
distortion.
Yeah.
Yeah, why do they do this?
I love your background though.
Oh yeah, whoever did that is an absolute genius.
Generous. Although he fucked it up a little bit, looks like.
Did he?
Funny.
Yeah, the edges are a little bit. There's some black edges.
You fixed those. You
I
fixed
did
the
fix
black
those. Yeah, later on.
I mean, whoever made it.
Whoever could have done that, of course.
What else, guys? Do you guys have anything else to say about this game other than I think it's for sure worth the price tag.
I don't like that they use different versions. I'm not used to, and it's a small thing. It's a small thing.
I will say that if
bye versus so long, gay Bowser, you know.
So long, me Bowsy. Whatever. All right. I will say if you're an old school player, like truly a die hard and still have this game on N64 and you love the original and of each version, you love the original, you'll be a little weirded out by some of the new things. Like I will admit I was shocked as soon as I heard him say bye-bye.
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna lie, I honestly was shocked because I heard that like, 20,000 times. I was like, what the fuck? They changed that? Something so drastic.
But a lot harder to remember too. Like
64
stars, I never
82 stars. Oh, that was me. My bad.
I'm saying like some of those stars are really difficult. Those are the 100 coin ones. I'm always like looking around the level. Being
the hundreds are crazy. Yeah, I find myself doing less like stutter step glitching and a lot of like weird shit. We had that weird wall glitch we discovered though the other day in Dire Docks. I don't know if that's specific to this version, but like you used to like land on the edge. And you would land on the
I get
edge.
That too. Yeah, I go.
You do that too. And that was a huge thing. So you would land on an edge. For anyone who doesn't know, and your Mario doesn't understand if he's on the ground or off the ground.
Emulation bug.
So he starts to like fall, and he goes like oh, like on the corner. And It's less frequent in this version, I think, than it is in N64. I'm finding much less like. Really, I found that.
I don't know.
Like,
I haven't played the N64 one in a while, so I don't know.
Interesting. That was the last version I played.
I'm a fan.
Nice. Must be nice. It's signed. Did I tell you that?
No, you didn't mention that.
Did your mom sign it?
My mom signed it. No.
She's like, from mother. Only woman who will ever love you.
Aside from Peach, hey, there's a moth in here. Hey, buddy.
What?
Dude, my wife is terrified of moths.
Really?
It's hilarious.
I mean, they're a fat bug. They're definitely not the most pleasant.
They're like
I don't
butterflies.
mind them. Yeah, she hates butterflies too. She's terrified. Like they legitimately freak her out. It's so funny.
Is so strange.
It's so funny.
I mean, I like her a lot, but yeah, that is weird. That's strange.
You guys have anything else to cover on the?
I'm going through. So one of the things I didn't like on Galaxy was that you have to like, if you're like holding it in handheld, you have to like manually touch the bits, and that's impossible to do. That's not
right.
All.
Use your nose.
But then you guys said
use your nose.
Push forward and do it. So like a little bit of a bummer. I think it'd be nice to have it like maybe you could have like L and then like move the right stick whatever to like like the star bits and then like let go of L and you can control the camera again.
Yeah, I think it's useful when you're shooting in space. When you're doing launch, you know what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah.
Launching from planet to planet, it's kind of not so bad. But it's not really wieldy. That means you get a ton of free bits anyway, just from doing shit and beating bosses and all that. So like naturally, the game gives you the bits. Yeah. Although like if you're only playing in handheld mode, then you're gonna grind Battle Rock Galaxy 100 times for sure, at least 100 times.
That being said, again, you can, if you're not playing in handheld mode, you can use the Joy-Cons or even the
which is nice,
the gyroscopic abilities on your Pro controller.
Wait, can you not take the Joy-Cons off, set up your pad, and
then you can. You definitely can. Yeah.
Start mode.
So none of the triggers on the Switch then allow like a slow progression basically. That's why they
no, there's no analog triggers on the Switch.
I get that because it's funny because like with like the emulation of that, you're able to fake that basically. So like on the GameCube, there was like this point where I basically can hear it like lock in almost, like you pull it halfway, and then it's like it's like a second button basically that it activates.
I will say
that they don't have that like on most controllers though, but you can fake that though.
You can fake that.
It was kind of interesting. I don't know.
I think there should have been. I think my biggest gripe. I'm just going to come back to it again. Still my biggest gripe. I'm going to compound on it. They knew this was a game that was compatible with the GameCube controller, and they really should have made an effort to make an original, everything is the same version of Sunshine. Like, I put my GameCube controller in thinking, this is going to be amazing. This is the first time I played it on there, and I was like, I'm going to love this, okay? You can't even do the pressure push if you're using a GameCube controller. You still have to press the Z button and the R button to do the two alternate squirts. Well, I was like, what a missed opportunity to just like go GameCube controls as an option.
Change your controls. Why don't they let you change your controls too? That's the other thing.
Why don't they let you? They do let you change your controls actually, because you can button map any controller.
I think the reason they did that is because there's probably not a whole lot of people that have the GameCube controllers. I know a lot of people like you guys have them, and like people that are big Smash Brothers fans probably have them. But a lot of other people don't have them. I don't have them. You know, I mean, I have GameCube controllers, but I don't have the adapter. You know, so and when Smash came out, the adapter was actually super hard to find too.
Yeah.
So, I think it just would have been neat. Like each game could have had a mode. Like 64 could have been like 64 mode on or off, and you turn it on, the cannons are back, ultimate long jump is back, and all the glitches and nothing is seamed, and then you turn switch mode on and it's literally the resolution. Like and then like Sunshine, it could be like, oh, sorry, you don't have a GameCube controller, can't switch to GameCube mode, and it just sticks you in switch
it's
mode.
An emulation, so it'd be like all this stuff would be doable. I feel like
all of it is doable. We've done it. We emulated Sunshine with that, like in co-op, for crying out loud. This could have been a co-op. Also,
I don't know. I'm not sure why they did emulation.
This whole game could have been online co-op. We know that from doing the SNES thing literally for free of it.
Right.
But whatever, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining. I think this is, since each game is basically a perfect 10, this is like a 10 out of 10 buy, in my opinion. Each game is $20 before tax. So if you're planning on buying Super Mario 64 for $65 on eBay to get the cartridge, you know, and blow it every time and hope it works still, fucking buy this. And it is essentially the quintessential version.
So it is important to know that the physical version, the whole thing is a limited release. The physical version is becoming hard to find. And the digital version, you can get it at any time. They're not going to run out of that until they stop selling it, right?
Hey, did Amazon refund you, by the way?
Yes. So if you bought it on Amazon,
here's what happened.
You got refunded $10 or like $10.75 or something like that.
I got refunded $10. Josh, did you get refunded?
Not only did I not
Adam got refunded
$10,
too.
Adam got.
Here's the debacle I went through, guys. So I pre-ordered from GameStop like a moron instead of Amazon like a smart person, apparently.
Yeah.
And because I really desperately wanted to play this as early as possible. Okay. So it cost $10 extra to get it on day one. Okay. I find out the day before launch that it's not coming till the day after launch now. And I paid more to get it on the day of.
That's
so I immediately called GameStop and the guy said, come into the store and we'll figure it out. Oh, okay, cool. He's going to figure it out. Okay. So I now have to buy another copy, because I can't get a refund on my second copy until it comes into the store. I can't even get the $10 day of thing back, right? So I'm going to buy my copy, and then I come in, I pick it up at noon. So that's pretty good. I get it like right on the day. So now when my second copy comes, which is now stuck in the office here at my thing, I can bring it back to GameStop if I want. But like, can you imagine that was the only copy I had? I would be so pissed right now. It's stuck in my landlord's office. Yeah. I'd be furious, but I have the copy, and now I have a second copy too. So I'm actually not too mad about that. So on the limited thing, this is going to be a fucking collector's item, guys. Yeah. This physical copy is in no way going to be worth any less than its retail cost. It is almost certainly 100% chance going to double in price after March 31st or whatever, or after the March due date. I would not be surprised if by Christmas this shit is a few $100s for the physical copy. And that being said, the digital copy, how many gigs was it? Did anyone download it?
I did not download it. I have no
Does anyone know how big it is? Because that could be a huge
probably not that big.
It isn't only an emulation, but
because it's emulation, then like the little cartridge
Galaxy,
for the ROM. Galaxy would be like probably 5 gigs.
You're peaking for some reason.
Yeah,
I am.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Galaxy 5 gigs, Sunshine 1 gig.
Is that better?
Mario 64, not even a gig probably. So it's still like 7 gigs on your hard drive. I don't know. I just think like I already had Starlink take up my entire fucking thing, and it still was able to make a save with my physical.
You can get micro SDs and you can swap them out. But you can also
just archive. You can just archive your save data.
Yeah, you can do that.
Really not. Yeah, which I think is like genius.
You don't like hack or anything to do that. You can just plug it in and just acts as your hard drive.
It just acts as a hard drive. It'll just go schmutz. I did it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have anything bad. I mean, I would say overall, buy this shit. If you're a Mario fan, if you're interested in what the game is,
it's 100% worth it.
It's 100% a buy. If you think 64 is too old, okay, get it for Galaxy, because that is basically a new game now.
It feels like a new game. Yeah.
You will love it. And Sunshine, you're not going to hurt on the graphics. You're still going to love the graphics, even if you're a new graphics lover. You will be like, they're a little dated, but not really. I think Sunshine holds up incredibly with this remaster. Only certain people will be like 64 is too old for me, and then it's still worth $60 for the other 2 games. Yeah. Even $60 for just Galaxy, in my opinion, if you just want Galaxy.
Absolutely. All right, let's switch modes. I'm actually gonna do a quick review of Space Station Silicon Valley.
He's gonna shit on it.
Space Station Silicon Valley is a game I picked as my featured game for the week a long time ago, and I played it on stream. Let me get the background gameplay up here real quick. So we got that up there. So Space Station Silicon Valley, like I said, I played it a while ago. I was excited about this game because Colin really hyped it up. He's like, it's from the same, it's like Rockstar before they were Rockstar. So people who made GTA and all this shit, and it's like a really cool game, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, cool, sounds fun. He's like, I loved it as a kid.
It is a good game. Do I not have your copy?
It's a fucking terrible game. Let me just start with that. No, so, okay, when I started it, I actually had a pretty decent outlook. By the way, I'm playing this, like, the gameplay that you see is from that device that I was, that I mentioned before. I was playing it through this.
Wow, look how good it looks.
So,
I want to interject and say this is like the worst looking game on the N64. I personally thought.
It is a terrible
I think
game.
It is one of the, just like in my experience playing with Colin, my biggest standout was, and this isn't even my review, I just think it's the worst looking game I've ever played on the N64. I don't know how it looks that bad, because there's plenty of games that like even Ape Escape, which looks like ass, still like has
I love
effort.
Ape Escape. That's PS1 though, bud.
All right, so Yeah.
Oh,
let me before I completely just shit on this game, let me say some positive things about the game.
It's on the N64.
It is on the N64. That's positive thing number one.
It's a good paperweight.
Really no. So when you first start the game, the music sounds pretty good. Like it starts out good, right?
Starts out.
And the basis of the game, it's a clever idea, right? So like essentially what you do is you crash land on this planet and your robot gets destroyed and you have to like rebuild your space station or whatever the fuck. I wasn't paying too much attention to the story because it got really terrible really fast. But you can basically possess
the voice acting.
The voice acting is god awful. So what? But the cool thing about the game is that every character in the game is. I think there is a little bit of voice acting. There is a little
voice acting. It's really like Conker's Bad Fur Day status.
Yeah. So every character in the game is controllable, which is a cool idea.
Yeah, it is.
If it was executed well. But everything in the game controls like ass, like complete utter ass. And they're boring too. Most of the animals in the world just have like really lame abilities. Yeah. So it's like, why am I doing this to myself?
Did you actually beat this game?
No, fuck no, I didn't beat this game.
I watched Colin play it all the way through.
I played as much of it as I could possibly tolerate. So let's just get into some details of the game. Space Station Silicon Valley, it was developed by DMA Design, which later on became Rockstar. It was released in 1998 for the N64. I'm sure it was full price then. I didn't pay anything for this. It was definitely emulation, guys. Sorry about that. I don't know if you could get this game. You could probably get this game for dirt ass cheap because it's a piece of shit.
Yeah. Colin's the only person I know with a physical copy of this game on Earth.
Yeah.
He has the only copy left.
Yeah, I already said what I liked about the game. The music is fine at first, but then it becomes so repetitive and awful that it makes you want to like take a freaking drill to your head. It is so bad.
There's no direction in this game also.
Yeah, it doesn't really give you any kind of like indicator of what you're really supposed to be doing.
It never lets you know if you're like doing better also.
Yeah, it's just so bad. And then like the concept is cool. So there's two things that I kind of liked, but they were executed so poorly that I couldn't even enjoy. Yeah, I couldn't even enjoy that. What did I not like about the game? Pretty much everything. It is ugly. It controls terribly. It's just ugh. How's the gameplay? Was it fun? No. How's the art? Art is awful. How's the music? The music starts out fine, but like I said, it gets terrible really fast. Sound design's awful. Everything else in the game sounds really bad. How long did it take me to beat? I couldn't tell you because I didn't finish. I think I put like. So I streamed it for about 2.5 hours, and then I actually did play a little bit of it off stream because I actually did want to finish it for the review.
It's brutal.
So I played like 2 or 3 more levels, and then wanted to like jam my head through my computer monitor, so I stopped playing.
What is your run through time, Colin? Just curious.
Oh, I don't know. Probably 6 to 10 hours.
Is it a 6-hour game? Okay, just curious.
Probably. I mean, like if it's like really casual on and off, probably. It's not very long. I mean, depends on what you want to do with it.
I bet if you're good at the game and you know what to do, you could probably beat it pretty fast. Like if you look at the screen right here,
like 1 to 2
this
hours.
wheel is all the levels. Like that's all the levels right there.
Okay. You know, like you can start skipping them pretty quickly once you get a few of them under your belt, I think. So
yeah, so I think if you know the game and you know how it plays, then you have no life and you should kill yourself.
Yeah, what a terrible game to speed run.
I'm kidding. But no, it is.
I have a friend who speedruns
but
it.
you could beat it fairly quickly, I think. Yeah.
Does he have the world record?
Yeah.
Your friend has the world record in Space Station.
That's because no one else plays it.
Friend. Yeah. I mean, I could probably add the second world record.
He's not my real friend, I promise.
Like we could all have the world record
all
theoretically. Like
that's so funny.
Yeah, speedrun record is 1 hour and 30 minutes. So
seems beatable
according to Chamali. Yeah. So let's see what else. Is the game difficult? Only because the controls are ass. Like it's not that complicated of a game. If it had better controls and it told you what to do, it wouldn't be that difficult. But because the controls are ass and it doesn't tell you what you're doing, you just kind of have to guess in every level. That makes it more difficult. Would I play a sequel? Hell no.
Not even an HD complete overhaul.
Well, here's the thing. If someone made this game today, it would by default be a better game. You know?
Yeah.
Like and they obviously went on to make like, you know, the freaking Grand Theft Auto series. You know, the whole like taking people's, you know, vehicles feels a little bit like a you know, like a holdover from this game. That's a little bit of a stretch, I would say, but
no, I see that.
But the you know, the fact that you can just control everything in the game kind of thing.
It's neat.
So I guess like in theory, maybe I would play a sequel to this, but you know, obviously there is no sequel, thank God. So I never have to do that. So overall impression, this game was ass. I would give it literally a 1.
Yes. A 1 out of 10. That is so funny.
Should you play it?
That's the first like horrible review we've ever given on the show.
Yeah. Should you play it? Only if you want to torture yourself or get the speedrun world record. So those are your options.
Which apparently is very easy because no one wants to put in the time.
That's what I'm saying. Anyway, so that is my review of Space Station Silicon Valley. I gotta say, like, I enjoyed it just for the memes, you know, like that's probably the best enjoyment I got out of it. And also it gave me perspective of kind of like games of the era. Like we all look back on 64 games with such fondness.
Yeah.
And a lot of the games that we played feel like this. Like go back and play GoldenEye. You know, that game feels terrible now, but that was the best game on the planet when it was out. You know,
would you say this game would be a better game, like if you reviewed it then?
I think I might have given it a 2. You know,
that's fair.
Like
this music's amazing.
No, it's terrible. All right. Anyway, so that's about it, guys. I just wanted to get this out of the way so we could get it off our list, honestly. But and so that we could have a little bit of memes with it. But yeah, don't like unless you just want to torture yourself or just like experience how bad it truly is, then you know, whatever.
It's just fun, like kind of like watching the Fantastic Four movies, you know?
Sure,
just to see how bad a movie can be.
Right, yeah. So that's about it. That's all I got for Space Station Silicon
I enjoyed
Valley.
that a lot. I really enjoyed that.
I'm glad you did.
Good times.
Colin, I actually, after playing this though, I genuinely want to hear your actual feelings about the game.
Let's see your review of it.
Because you're the one who really wanted me to play this game.
I just thought it's just a neat part of history, kind of about like, you know, Rockstar and like where they came from, basically. You know, like you can see Rockstar is the people that make
came from
Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto, like, Red Dead Redemption.
Clearly all Red Dead Revolver.
Yeah,
I mean, they learned a lot.
You can see though where they were going for, you know, like you can definitely be like,
no, you can.
I understand like what they were trying to accomplish in this game, versus you know what they have now. So like that just didn't work though. That
but okay, what year did the first Grand Theft Auto come out?
It was like 2002. 2002.
Grand Theft Auto 1?
2000. Maybe 99. No way. PS1? 99?
Let's see. Grand Theft Auto 1 came out in 97. So 97? In 97, Grand Theft Auto had already been made. This game came out after it. The first Grand Theft Auto is top down and it's fucking rad. It's a super fun game. Is that the
Grand Theft Auto on the calculator or is that the Grand Theft Auto on the PS1?
It was on PS1 and on PC. Okay. So this game had already been made, Grand Theft Auto, and it was a great game. And they came out with this piece of asshole on the
can
N64.
I just say that this came out the same year as Ocarina of Time? Like, they obviously had no time for anything else. They're like, we need a game to come out the same year. This also came out the same year as Banjo-Kazooie. There's like no excuse for not being.
The background though for this story is actually pretty cool. Like they worked hard on this game and like had a small development team and like they literally were worried. I think at one point they got like robbed, I think, while in this like small little town they were like working in or something like that. Yeah. Like it was just a really shitty environment and like they worked hard on it and it didn't do very well. And it's just neat. I don't know, just to me it's like a cool game that just like was a part of their history. And like in fact, you actually can hear the theme song in the radio in Grand Theft Auto 3, I think.
Shout out.
That's kind of
neat. Like hear it every once in a while. You just hear like da 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 because they know their roots. I think that was kind of cool. The game's like not amazing by any means. It's not like a good game, but like I really still enjoy it just because like to me it's a game.
Yeah.
It's one of those games where like it goes, here's a goal, accomplish this goal. And it's like, well, how do I do that? And I don't care. It's up to you. You know, like that to me is kind of neat. It's called something certain. There's a certain word for that. I can't remember the name of that word. Where like other games that are great games like Mario are like accomplish this goal. This is kind of the intended way to do this.
This is how you do it, yeah.
I mean, like obviously you can do a speedrun stretch or anything, but like that's not really the intended way, you know.
And that's but you do that as like a test in your company. You don't release that to the public and have them pay for it.
But then that being said, also, Colin, you do find the best, most optimal way to do something. Like that's
sure,
more
but like really. I think like Grand Theft Auto though is a good example of that as well. Though it's like they go kill this guy, and it's like, well, how? It's like I don't care, you know, like do whatever, like get any gun you want, get ready at all. Like I remember one time I had to like fight someone, and I was like, well, how do I kill this person? And it was like. I remember I brought a car in ahead of time with a bunch of guns, whatever, or something like that. Or like, I don't remember what I did, but like the point is I was clever about it and like prepared ahead of time where like, I feel like Space Station Silicon Valley kind of does the same thing. Like you approach a boss and like, well, he's more powerful than me or a robot or whatever. And you're like, how do you defeat him? And you can like gather an army sometimes or there's different things you can like do to accomplish it. And that to me was always really cool as a kid to just accomplish it in really unique ways. And maybe even the developers didn't expect or whatever. So like that to me was kind of the heart of this game. It was bad. It wasn't a good game and it didn't do well and it wasn't well optimized and made. But like that concept of you accomplish it in the way you want to was always so cool to me as a kid. You know,
yeah. That's why you like games like Terraria. Yeah.
Yeah, Terraria. Yeah, that's another good example. I guess so. I mean, like I think any game can be said like accomplish it any way you want, but like a lot of games kind of like push you into a path, you know, like this is the way you should do this, you know?
Yeah.
Where it doesn't give you everything at once. It doesn't give you all your moves, whatever, you know, at one time to do it. So yeah.
I feel you, man.
That's the reason why I like it. So
that's awesome. Okay.
I can respect that. I can respect it. I stand by I stand by my numbers, but I do respect your opinion on that.
Yeah.
You guys want to get into a topic question?
Topic.
What's the topic? All right. How do you take VR from a niche to a full product that everyone wants?
I don't know. Oh, I know. I know how to do this.
I know. You give it away for free with the console.
No.
Okay. I'm really curious about Colin's perspective on this because he's like our VR expert.
I think this is how you do it. I think this is the way forward. I think it's the only way you'll be able to do it. It needs to be wireless and be able to be paired with a console or quickly install
any console,
you know, like with your Wi-Fi, like you'd be able to like, you know, get it from your Wi-Fi basically and download games and have like, you know, like a pretty big storage on it basically, and then make it so you don't need controllers anymore. So no controllers, wireless.
Dude, you just fucking nailed it. If you can pair it with literally any price, if you can pair it with anything,
that needs to be affordable.
I think $300 though isn't too crazy.
Yeah.
$300. Like there's some really nice toys out there for kids that are around. Like today I was looking at some scooters today. They're for kids. It was around like $300, I think.
You know what Legos cost now?
They're expensive. The big Legos, but like they also need eye tracking as well. Eye tracking needs to be a part of it. I think they need to put a little fan in there as well. I saw this modification recently someone did for their VR headset. It had a little fan that basically blows on your eyes. And they had like an air conditioner in there. It's really nice, which is a big deal with VR.
So your eyes get really dry.
What about leg tracking? That fan was so light that it's barely.
Yeah.
What about leg tracking?
That could, you know what, that could probably actually work with hand tracking because right now they're looking at ways to make it so they can use like AI to see your hands basically, and so they can track your hands perfectly. So I'm sure leg tracking is not far behind. That's not as important though in VR right now, like in terms of like
that's fair
accessibility. At some point, I think
without a controller, there has to be a way to move through your environment without.
Well, I think a lot of people will just naturally know how to do things. I really do think like when people play VR, it's fun to watch one for the first time. Who's never played VR. So once you teach them the controls a little bit, they start to get it, and like there's a sense of like they reach for things, they do things naturally that you do. So I really do see people completely becoming like understanding of how it works, or like gestures that you'll do that'll become, paired with VR and implementation of it. So that's what I think needs to happen, though. Those few things: wireless for sure, no controllers, and maybe it needs to be on your phone or something like that. Maybe it needs to like be able to slide in. Like maybe that's.
I mean, that exists and it's awful. So
yeah, so like
it just
needs like
needs to be much more improved.
Right. Maybe it doesn't need to be on your phone. Then I don't know. Yeah. I'm not sure. Or maybe it needs to be like streamed from your phone or something like that. I don't know. That there's like.
I mean, there are a couple like standalone wireless VR devices out there, like the Oculus Go and things like that.
Right, but like that's Facebook. Who wants that?
I agree, but that kind of outlines.
Still has controllers though too. Yeah. So which they're working on. So it needs to be have like no tracking. Needs to be like inside out tracking. No controllers. Eye tracking. A little fan in there. Needs to be lightweight. Needs to be able to like be able to take it off and put it on quickly. I think it needs to have pass through as well. I think that's important, but that's easy to do. Pass through is easy because inside out tracking uses cameras, so you basically just let them see the cameras on the outside,
right?
And then stretch the image appropriately, and that way you could have pass through basically. So you could have like a some kind of like gesture you could do, and that would be like okay, pass through or whatever. So
right.
Makes
sense.
I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be the way forward, and anybody could buy it.
I think that'll happen.
No one knows. No one fucking knows what VR really is, and like how far along it is, and it's impossible to show. It's possible to show someone having fun when you don't show their eyes. They're like, I'm having fun. And it's like, are they? I have no idea. Like all the advertisements are just terrible.
Yeah.
No one knows how to showcase how cool this is.
But, honestly, that's probably the thing I agree with the most. Like until I came over to your house and actually tried it, like on a legit VR system rather than just like the stupid phone things.
Yeah.
Like I was like, man, fuck VR. But I played it on yours, and yours isn't even like top of the line. Yours is good, but it's nowhere near top of the line. And it was fucking awesome. Like I enjoyed almost every bit of it. There was some nausea in some of the games, but for the most part, it was fine. And it like even games that weren't like very graphical, like if the game does a good job of accomplishing immersion, you don't even notice poor graphics. Like you become part of that world.
Yeah, and like Superhot's a good example of that. Very minimalistic graphics, but like you're immediately immersed. You immediately start fighting people and clicking.
Oh, I was doing karate in your basement, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah,
I think the future is really cool. I think someone's going to need to create a VR headset that's like around $300 that does everything. That does it all. They'll probably sell at a loss. It'll probably be like its own console, basically. And then you'll have to like.
That's my one thing is that like we're pretty solidified in consoles here, so like everything bounces off of the powerhouses right now. Like when Apple tries to make their thing, everyone tries to make their thing. Oculus even bounces off these big guys. So like it needs to be something that couples with like all the companies.
So I will say this. The leaks for the PS5 VR that we've talked about before on the podcast sum up most, if not all, of what Colin mentioned. So we'll see if they pull that off. But and PlayStation already has the biggest install base for VR. So PlayStation could be the place for VR to become mainstream if they pull this off with the next iteration of it.
I mean, like that'd be cool to bring it in.
Possible.
I think
really cool Xbox would drop it right away.
I think it's like glasses basically you just wear. You just put them on, they're lightweight, and they just immerse. Like there's immersion immediately, and then it can like go back to normal basically.
Yeah, like in Ready Player One, like Blink said in the chat. Yeah.
Oh, I've never seen that, so I don't know anything about that.
I think we're on the precipice of like the next like slew of things will be like the top of this tier of generational like technology. And then we're on the precipice of like the huge next step. I feel like where you're literally throwing holograms up and shit.
You know what's funny, Colin?
Like something massive.
They actually do have some slimmer VR glasses for even drone racing. For drone racing.
Oh, I want those. Yeah.
Have you seen those? Why can't they do that for
FPV or
that's madness, dude.
Yeah, they're really cool. But they're much more streamlined. It's not like this big bulky ass stupid looking thing on your head.
Yeah, I don't know why that's necessary.
Yeah. Why is the bulky ass thing just to keep the light out potentially? Guarantee light like
well, and also immersion. Probably field of view and stuff like that. I'm not sure, but
I would much prefer the glasses version.
Yeah.
Or what about just like glasses that you can like turn on VR mode and they go and they just like blacken and then you see a screen all of a sudden, literally like Google Glass, except it's like everything.
Yeah, like AR kind of thing.
You can see that their power level is over 9,000, all of it.
Yeah, exactly. Real quick, guys, let's move on. Let's talk about the news and then we'll wrap it up. We had a couple releases and things this week. Sony did their press conference. They finally announced the price and the release date of the PS5.
Both are gonna hurt.
I don't think it's that bad. PS5, the digital only version, which if you compare the digital only version of the PS5 to the digital only version of the Xbox, the digital only version of the PS5 is a full powered PS5, whereas the digital only version of the Xbox is a like underpowered version of the Xbox, you know, the new series, whatever. So the price kind of reflects that. So the digital only version is $399, whereas the Xbox digital only, I believe, is $299. And then the disc version of the console is $499, which is the same price as the disc console for the Xbox Series X. Which I think is a fine price for a new console in this day and age. If you look back at previous console launches, the price lines up, and if you factor in inflation, you know, these will be less expensive than those, you know, previous generation consoles. So I think that's a great launch price. During the conference, go ahead.
I would say I think this is the perfect opportunity for people unsure about it to just buy a PC, because it's just going to keep going like this, guys. Buy a fucking PC and hop off the console train. Sorry, that's my note, because this is like we could have stopped at PS3 and you would have been way under your price point with all these consoles.
I disagree, and here's why. And I'm not by no means anti PC. I've got an awesome gaming PC and I love it. But my awesome gaming PC, I didn't pay this much for it because I got some awesome deals, but like if I paid full price for it, it would have been like $4,800. You know what I mean? And that's just the PC. That's not my monitors. That's not my mouse and keyboard. That's not any of my streaming equipment. Not that you need streaming equipment to play games, but the point is
it's one box, not 3 consoles.
Right, but you don't necessarily. Not everyone needs every console. Not everyone needs, you know, so like for someone who already has a TV and wants to play a game on their TV in their living room, an Xbox or a PlayStation or a Nintendo Switch is a great buy, you know, if they're not. So like if you're a hardcore gamer, like hardcore, you want the best experience of everything. Yeah, PC's the way to go. But if you want to just play games in 4K on your fucking TV in your living room, this is fine, you know, and for some people it's better. You don't have to worry about compatibility issues. You don't have to, you know, worry about optimization. You know that every game that comes out for that system is going to be compatible with that system, you know? Like for instance, Colin was trying to get Remnant playing on his PC. He can't get it playing on his PC.
Why?
I don't know.
Good question, but it plays on a PS4. So, you know, so like
fine.
there's good reasons to buy a console, especially if you're not like a super high speed gamer. That being said, if you are a high speed gamer, yeah, probably just buy a console, especially a PC instead of buying in particular an Xbox, because Xbox isn't going to have any exclusives.
Yeah, it's more like Xbox really, because at least Sony tries and separate itself, especially nowadays. It's starting to separate itself slightly more.
Yeah,
I don't know. Let's see what happens with everything. Maybe I'll stand corrected, but I personally am not going to be buying into any of this new shit. So. Yeah,
that's fine. We did get some cool announcements. Final Fantasy 16 got announced, which I'm very excited about.
We have a trailer for that?
Yeah, I don't have it pulled up. But it looks incredible. It's the first Final Fantasy game that's going back to fantasy. It's not in some cyberpunk world. Like it looks, it's like exactly what I was asking for in a Final Fantasy game.
D&D almost,
yeah. So I'm excited about that. The trailer looks cool. Check it out. It's coming out on PC and PS5. It is not coming out on the Xbox.
Or PS4. Whoa.
Yeah, it's not coming out on PS4 either. Hogwarts Legacy, which is like an open world Harry Potter-esque game. It doesn't, it doesn't follow Harry Potter. It takes place in the late 1800s, I believe.
That's so cool.
And you get to create your own wizard and go to Hogwarts and have adventures, and it looks pretty rad, honestly. Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. This wasn't new. It's just a special edition that they're optimizing for PS5, so great. A new Five Nights at Freddy's for PS5, and then the big kicker was God of War Ragnarok, which is the sequel to the last God of War. They just did a teaser. They showed like the Ohm symbol, and that was it. And the name. So I'm excited about that, but that one's probably pretty far off, being that they didn't show anything. PS5 pre-orders were a goddamn disaster. So during the conference, they announced that pre-orders would start the following day, but it turned out pre-orders started that day. And so many people like myself didn't even think to go look. Meanwhile, you've got like bots online buying up all the pre-orders. Yeah. And so it was a disaster. The brick and mortar pre-orders sold out super fast. All the online pre-orders sold out super fast. It was just a real big disaster. PlayStation actually came out and apologized for how poorly that was executed and said that they're going to be doing a couple more cycles of pre-orders, and then they're going to make sure that PlayStation 5s are available, to
fill
leading up to the holidays. So
that's smart.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully they work that out. Like I didn't get a pre-order. I wanted a pre-order for streaming purposes. I wanted to get a PS5. And it did not happen for me. So I was pretty bummed about that. And then speaking of selling quickly, the GTX 3000 series, the 3080, 3070, 3090, those also released, I think, either the day before or the day after. And those had a similar thing. Like pre-orders sold out immediately. Bots bought up a whole bunch of them. In fact, something funny, a guy created his own bot that goes into bidding sites and runs up the bid on scalped
that's fucked.
video cards. No, it's awesome. Because basically it disables the ability for those scalpers to sell those scalped video cards. So it's kind of a dope thing. I wish they did that with the PS5.
That would be cool.
So, people are fighting back with that. So that's pretty cool. But it's a bummer that they all sold out that quick. But this happens. These will be available in a few months. Same thing with the PS5. Like everyone tries to get the new on the first day, and these types of things happen. With regards to pre-orders for the Xbox Series S and Series X, those are open on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern. So if you're trying to get an Xbox, that's your day. This Tuesday. So
I'm sure there'll be plenty of those.
Yeah. And that so there's one other thing that we didn't have listed that I wanted to mention. Because this kind of flew under the radar for everyone, including myself, because of the pre-order thing. So as we talked about before, Nintendo did their like investor call back on the 16th. Okay. Just a few days ago, same day as all this PS5 stuff. And during that investor call, in kind of like so many words, they basically said that they are making a new model of Nintendo Switch. They said the Switch, I don't have the exact quote. I should have looked this up, but I honestly was half asleep before the podcast started, so sorry. But they basically said that the Switch is about halfway through its life cycle, and that to invigorate the life cycle, they're looking into rather than gimmicky solutions like they've done in the past, more substantial like hardware solutions to bring the Switch forward and finish out its life cycle. So that kind of is alluding to new hardware. In addition to that, it is confirmed that the new Monster Hunter games that were announced during the Nintendo Direct Mini just the other day are running on the RE engine, which was previously noted that the RE engine does not run very well or really optimally at all on the current Switch hardware. So these games are coming out next year. In order for those to run optimally, you'll probably need a more powerful Switch. That kind of leads into what they're saying during this investor call. Stands to reason that we're getting a Switch Pro next year.
Makes sense that they would not have even announced Breath also. Yeah, I wonder if it's going to be using this more powerful engine too.
Yeah.
So they're holding back on it. Yeah. I mean, I'm just going to buy it. I don't even care.
Yeah.
If it's a Switch 2 and it's not like a Switch S, then I'm going to buy it. If it's like a Switch S, you know what I mean by that? Like,
so I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it's. Okay. I think I know what you mean. Like like you're not gonna buy a Switch Lite equivalent, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
If it's something that's actually like a Pro version, an enhanced version, you're gonna buy that.
I do want that. Yeah.
So like
actually.
3DS versus new 3DS.
Yeah, I don't care about that. Yeah. Right?
Well, but I'm like that's the comparison.
What's new 3DS? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Oh my god. What the hell's the difference? I never knew about this.
You didn't know the difference?
Oh, real quick.
They came out with, I mean, 3DS is done now. They officially
I was about to say,
announced,
that was the announcement that this week they actually stopped production on the 3DS and 2DS. Yeah. So enjoy having your $500 console now.
Right. So,
gonna go skyrocket.
Right, exactly. So a few years back, before the Switch came out, they released the new 3DS, which was a more powerful version of the 3DS. Oh
yeah, that's right. It was a little bigger too. Okay,
yeah. Actually, well, you could get a smaller version. I actually have my new 3DS is actually smaller. I've got the the light version, and it's the Pokemon version. It's fucking dope. But yeah. Anyway, it's a more powerful. Some games would only run on this, like Zelda, Majora's Mask.
Yes.
Anyway, but we are way over on time. Do you guys have any closing statements?
I gotta go.
Anything you guys want to finish with?
Goodbye. All right. Good stuff. Gotta go.
All right. Let's get the socials in here real quick and the Discord. You guys, if you enjoy our content, go ahead and follow us. Our socials are in the chat right there. I am Paul, Ryugami-san. You're watching me live on Twitch right now. If you are, you're on my channel, Ryugami-san. I can use words. You can find me at Ryugami-sama on Twitter. Our YouTube is in the chat as well. I would say it, but it's just a bunch of letters and numbers. It's not our actual name, unfortunately. So check that out in the chat. And that's about it. I try and stream twice during the week, and Saturdays I do Samurai Saturdays, and then the podcast on Sundays. So Josh, where can we find you, homie?
Find me at Lord Yeshua and Lord Yeshua TTV on all my socials, all the good ones. And I am pretty much streaming 2/3 times a week with the podcast as well. So I'd say 2 is pretty solid, with 1 podcast day every Sunday. And we're going to be streaming the 3D All-Star Collection pretty much for the next foreseeable future, I would say. I'm really into this right now.
It's a lot of fun.
It's really fun. But yeah, that's me.
Colino, where you at?
Colina.
Twitch.tv/4Gs.
That's the guy.
That's it. All right. Everyone have an awesome evening.
Let's raid.
We'll see who are we raiding.
Well, there's 2 people actually. There's Mindari and there's McGill. And McGill is the world record holder for Space Station Silicon Valley.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, dude. Okay, what's his
NCILL.
NCI
M as in Mancy.
MCI
as in Mancy.
LL.
As in Memphis.
C as in Craig.
MCILL. All right, we're rating McKill, and I think it's Masil.
McGill. It's McGill.
Masil.
I asked him. You can ask him.
I'm half joking.
You can ask your not friend.
Is he playing Space Station Silicon Valley? Oh my God! All right, guys, go watch.
What is his life?
All right, we're rating right now. All right, everyone have a good night. Goodbye.
Bye.
That's funny.